This is WOMMLP operating out of Burlington, Vermont, 105.9 The Radiator. Good evening. It is the first Rocket Shop of 2023. I'm your host, Tom Proctor, and with me tonight is Living Room Romantics. Hello.
Hi.
How's it going this evening?
Good.
You want to do a quick intro to both of yous?
So my name's Hunter, and I am Living Room Romantics. My friend Joe, he's going to play some lead on a couple songs.
Wonderful. Well, great to have you in the studio for this first show of 2023. We'd like to kick it off with a song. So what have you got for us?
The first one's going to be my title track for my EP, On Fire. EP's been out since Sunday. The song's been out since October.
Oh, take it away.
Last night was the first night I saw you, standing in black jeans and a black tee, with your hair all done up too. Been seat in my Falcon next to you. Turn the radio on, sing along to your favorite 90s tune. You wake me up at 4 in the morning just to drive all day. We're never running away. We turn around to the rhythm of the sun that's going down. You and me on fire in the backseat. Fireworks and carnival rides in June. Summer heat in the Northeast. We were young, but it's not too soon. You wake me up at 4 in the morning just to drive all day. We're never running away. We turn around to the rhythm of the sun that's going down. You and me on fire in the backseat. You wake me up at 4 in the morning just to drive all day. We're never running away. We turn around to the rhythm of the sun that's going down. You and me on fire in the backseat. You and me on fire in the backseat. You and me on fire in the backseat.
All right, Living Room Romantics there with the title track of the new EP, On Fire. So, Hunter, tell us a little bit about that song itself. I'll probably get a couple of indications of what it's about based on the lyrics, but always best to hear from the horse's mouth.
All right, so song's sort of about meeting my fiance, and then it's kind of like a summer that we had together. I guess anyone can really see it as someone they've met and just like details about that. And I really like imagery of like older things. So like I threw in an old car, something that I'd really like to own one day. I like songs like that. I like definitely just like painting a picture. just taking like experiences and sort of making like I feel like a mini movie almost, you know.
Yeah. Did you truly get woken up at 4 a.m? Because I would not react very well at being woken up at 4 a.m. If I'm honest with you, even from my
No, I
fiance.
think I stayed up till 4 a.m. So close enough.
So as we said, that is the title track of your new EP. So that was released last month, towards the end of January. Tell me about the creation of this EP. What built up to it? Because it's the first record that you've kind of put out there, right? I mean, obviously there's singles and stuff, but there's compilation.
2020 is when I sort of started toying with the idea of doing something maybe not entirely acoustic, but like sort of stripped down, not as loud as guitars. My band was kind of off and on with practicing because of COVID, and I went and wrote a couple songs with a friend of mine, and sort of just ended there. Like, okay, these are cool. Like, that was fun. Like, whatever. And then, you know, COVID kept going, and 2021 happened, and shows started to happen again, but we just weren't there collectively. You know, we'd just been apart from each other for so long, and so we kind of went on an indefinite hiatus for now. And I'm like, oh, man, this is like really bumming me out. Like, we were playing like every weekend, twice a week sometimes, and I was like, well, I got these 2 songs that are pretty good, but I was kind of like, I don't know, like, I don't really want to do those. So then I wrote another one like earlier this summer, and then I wrote another one in the summer, and I was like, oh, I heard those first 2 again. Like, I found an old email with them, and I'm like, those are really good songs. Like, I'm just gonna do this, and I don't want to be like sitting here waiting for life to happen and miss out on stuff, and I need to be playing music. So I was like, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna just do something by myself or get friends. You know, more stripped down, easier thing to do, because that's what I enjoy doing. So
what was the impetus? Because you had these like 4 or 5 songs by the end of like last summer.
yeah,
And you were like, okay, now I'm gonna get in the studio and do this, because you could have gone the other route and gone like, oh, I'm gonna solo in bars and in venues for a while, and then kind of gather momentum and whatnot. Why was it now? Why was the time to get into a studio and actually get EP out?
well, they're recorded with a friend of mine in Maine at his place, so it was definitely easier than going to like a bigger studio like I've done before. I don't know. I wanted to be able to show stuff before I book shows, I guess, this time. Like, any band I've ever been in is just kind of like, all right, we're going to play a bunch of shows. Okay, these songs are good. We'll record these songs. And I just wanted to do a different approach. Like, you know, it's just me right now, so it's really nerve-wracking to play acoustic alone. It's the reason why I have Joe with me. Like, I'm used to being able to hide behind a big band and my full stacks and stuff. And I was like, well, maybe if I can get people to listen to them before I play out, see if people actually like them, then I'll be less nervous and, you know, book some shows, which I've got 1 booked.
Hey, that's a good start.
Yeah.
That's where you go from here. And obviously, you're no stranger to playing shows with your other band. And you kind of mentioned that you had 2 songs in like kind of the locker as you were kind of was it transitioning out the other band. I'm not saying it's you know, it's still continuing.
They definitely did not fit that style what we were
Right.
doing. There was actually 3 songs, but one of them was just. I think it's a good song. I think the rough recording I have is just that, a rough recording where I sound awful, and I like the guitar part, but like the vocals need work and maybe the lyrics tweaked and stuff. I haven't completely written it off, but those 2 of them I was really like, I like those. And
so with the previous band, were you the lead singer? You were the lead singer. So is there anything you took going into recording this EP and being a solo artist as well, actually, that you're like, all right, I'm going to do this? You've already kind of mentioned you did a bit differently by recording first and then doing shows. But was there anything else you kind of took with you going into this new project? You're like, all right, I did it this way with the band. I'm going to do it differently this time. And how'd that work out?
melodies. I'm a really big sucker for I used to just like, okay, there's a lot of lyrics here. That's good. That makes a song, right? Like a lot of lyrics, a lot of cool words and stuff, and that's how it was. And my melodies were they were okay. They were catchy enough, but I felt like not what they could be. And so like this, I was like, okay, these lyrics are good. Like I like these lyrics better. They're definitely more well written, and I gotta have better melodies for them too. If I'm gonna have this stripped down sound where most of the time it's gonna be me and a guitar, and I'm not gonna be like playing some riffs or anything. I'm gonna be strumming some chords. Like I gotta have better lyrics and definitely better melodies. So just took that, which I feel like at the end of that band I was trying to start to do that, but I was still kind of like, just a bunch of words all at once. Louder is better.
And were you writing songs for the previous band as well that you just...
Yeah.
And those songs you wouldn't then do solo versions and kind of a stripped down version of that? Or you're like,
I
clean
have
break?
done it a few times.
Yeah.
I feel like those were more written for intentionally to be played with a full band, where this, I wrote these songs and then on the recordings it's like, it'll be really good there, like some lead there, some bass, some drums on 3 out of the 4. So I built those around the song, where before it was just kind of like, all right, here's a riff, let's build a song around this riff, and it's good for what I was doing, but this is different.
Because you're taking a different approach with this different project, do you find yourself having to be in a different place or intentionally putting yourself in a different place when kind of sitting down and writing and creating a song?
I think, yeah. Because I feel like with my old band, it was like, I'd sit down, the original tracks I wrote were me and a drummer, so you're like, okay, like, what can you drum to this? Like, okay, that's cool. Or like, sit down with him and our bassist, like, we'd all do it together. Like, we just write together for the most part. Like, sometimes, you'd show up with something, but like, the song was written together, where this is like, not as much. Like, I've spit ideas off of my friend who helped record me and all, but definitely different.
So I've talked to obviously a lot of bands doing this job, and it's rare that you hear of a band kind of writing something out of practice. Obviously, there is a one song every album maybe where that happened, but it's really the rarity. Most of the time, it's a singer or a songwriter who kind of brings X to the band practice, and then you play it out a few times, you see how it feels. But you're saying that in your previous band, you kind of like, you sat down at band practice and kind of like hashed it out.
I think I would show up with, because I wrote most all of them, but I think I would show up with a good riff and a good idea, but like we would see kind of what fit. So a little bit of both. I mean, I was still showing up with a lot of ideas, but okay, you're adding this to it. Okay, that sounds good to it, but.
Has it been refreshing to kind of have full, total creative control with this new project?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I didn't not have creative control last time, but, it's just different because I'm trying to write differently.
Yeah. Have you, so you said you kind of got one gig coming up. Have you gigged yet? Was that the first gig of the new era, if you will?
We're going to call this the first gig of the new era. There's I thought it was going to be like me, Joe, and you. I didn't realize there would be a mini audience. So
it generally depends on the day. Sometimes it's whoever's in front of me and Bob and myself, and then sometimes we got a good crew. I feel like the crew is getting larger and larger each week.
I think that this is actually like perfect. Like I said, I'm like, I would rather play, and I've played to like tons and tons of people in a full band, and I'm like, I don't care, like whatever. There's a lot of people out there, but when it's like 5 people. And then there's me. I'm always like, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's because it's more intimate.
So I kind of like, this is a nice surprise. If I had known about this many people before I showed up, I probably would have not shown up.
Well, I'm glad no one gave you like an RSVP then.
I had a mini heart attack when I opened the door and there was so many people in here, but.
Well, I'm glad you powered.
This is cool though.
I'm glad you powered through. Yeah. Before I get you to play the next song, if you mentioned, like, with the band behind you and with the stack and with, like, the setting, I can understand that kind of gives you that confidence. But you being the front man, if you were, like, the drummer or if you were the bassist, I could, and I mean, no offense here, Joe, but I could understand kind of that real kind of character change that you'd have to do to now be that kind of solo artist. But you stood in front of tens, hundreds probably of people. And so, what is that real big difference?
To me, it's, I don't know, like, I'm used to heavily distorted guitar, and I feel like you mess up something on that. There's a lot of distortion there, and you can't hear the mistake, and it's like that's a mistake. Like you can hear that perfectly,
Right.
and that's what's more nervous to me is like, okay, if I screw up, like it's just me. I can't be like, I screwed up because you started playing at a time or something like.
Well, that and obviously it's difficult to really ascertain which person actually screwed up when
Yeah.
you're watching a full band. But I will say to someone who cannot play a lick of music, you're the only person that's going to hear those screw ups. no one else does.
And I get that, but I'm in my head too much about things a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even want to. I wanted to put the songs on, and then I was like, I don't want to put these on. Like these are bad. And I would listen to them like, no, these are like really good, but everyone's gonna think they're really bad. But no, they're really good. I'm too much in here.
That introspection is probably what makes you a great writer and musician in itself. So I guess it's like two sides of the same coin, really.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a good and a bad to it. But we love the first song, and we'd love to hear a second. So what
Yeah.
you got for us?
This next one is a lot shorter. It's called Another Song. And I think I'm just doing this one alone. But
What would you say if I were to come over tonight? Open the door. If I were to come over tonight. So tired, but I can't fall asleep. You're in bed, lying next to me. I wish you were anywhere with me, but you're not. So I will write another song for you to listen to, and you turn out the lights. So here we are. You grab the collar of my shirt. You pull me close. Kiss my lips in yours. So tired that I can't fall asleep. You're in bed, lying next to me. I think you would go anywhere with me, but you won't. So I will write another song for you to listen to, and I turn out the lights.
All right, Living Romantics there. And I didn't actually get the name of the song. What was
that was just another song.
It's another
That's
song.
what it's called. And
So you mentioned in your bio that you toured nationally. I'm assuming that's your previous band.
Yep.
So where have you been? What was your favorite place to perform in? What genre is your previous band? I want to
So,
know a little bit more about
previously,
that.
I was in like a emo pop punk band. We played all over New England. I've in a band years ago. I've played as far down as like somewhere in South Carolina, but a lot of East Coast stuff. Favorite place to play? Higher Ground was super cool in the lounge in my last band. Actually, in another band I played at the old Rat House in Burlington. Insane.
Yeah.
Like, there was, I don't know how many people in there, but you couldn't move. It was February. It was like, I think, like negative degrees out. In that basement, it was like 100 and something. It was
Wow.
insane. That definitely a really good one. Higher Ground. And used to play, I think they're not a DIY spot anymore, but there was this cool DIY spot in Worcester called the Firehouse, and it literally was a firehouse that people lived in, and they would host shows, and that was a pretty cool place.
Yeah, that sounds
Pretty
pretty
chill.
awesome.
Like, that was pretty cool.
So your current genre, I'd definitely say, is obviously acoustic emo. You're playing pop punk emo in your previous band. Do you have other arrows in your quiver? Do you ever deviate and go, all right, this week I'm electro, or have you kind of got like, this is the genre I'm in. I'm good with it. I'm going to stick with it.
I mean, I've mostly always been in like a punk adjacent type band and a lot of more emo sounding stuff, and I think that that's where my lyrics tend to go. It's like heartbreak stuff, and I don't think I always write like that, but I definitely feel like 90% of the time, and I want to be a little bit different in this, not as typically whiny, I guess. But that's definitely how I feel like grew up, just listening to that kind of stuff, and that's where I ended up.
Is it a little bit different now you got a fiance? You can't really talk about the heartbreak stuff quite as much anymore.
You can.
Yeah.
You just gotta. It's a song. That's all it is. You know?
Right.
It's, and I mean, it might not be 100% true. You know, you can kind of just come up with a scenario. You know, you don't have to write entirely about personal experiences. I mean, that's, I feel like a lot of artists do, and it works out well. But I mean, some people don't have those kind of experiences, but you can write a good song about that. I have had some of those. Why not write about it? You can write what you know, but I mean, I see no harm in it as long as you're not like pining over somebody. It's just like, I feel like it's really therapy too. Gets that kind of stuff off your chest if you're like really bothered about something.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, you know, you can also take stuff from your friends' lives, and
Yeah, exactly.
Just because you got a fiance now doesn't mean you didn't have these experiences in the past.
Exactly.
And just take things from your own personal experience. Obviously, emo had its first big resurgence in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, I mean that's when I was in high school.
Yeah,
So.
ditto. Yeah, Hawthorne Heights. Something talking about brand new earlier on. God, I went to this emo club back when I was in like a 16 and whatnot, and that was just the playlist for the evening. I feel like it has had a bit of a resurgence in the 2020s.
Yeah, I mean,
what's the scene looking like these days?
The scene locally or like nationally?
Let's say nationally and then locally, as I'm sure that's more what you've seen.
I feel like nationally there are a lot of older bands that are, I don't know if they're getting back together, but they're getting together and playing shows. Like I saw MCR this summer. Like that was insane. Like they're back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen Hawthorne Heights in the last couple of years. I've seen Silverstein. Like those two bands didn't go anywhere, but they're, I don't know, I feel like they're maybe gaining traction again just because of whatever.
Right.
I've definitely seen a lot of those type of bands in the last couple of years that I feel like we all thought kind of faded away, but somehow they're back.
Right. Well, I mean,
and I don't think that's bad. Like,
no, I think great fun to see. I actually went to see MCR back in like 2007 or whenever the hell that was,
Yeah.
and it was a hell of a lot of fun. Actually, my roommate, old roommate, was at probably the same MCR gig you were at in the summer, and she had,
I saw them at Riot Fest.
Oh,
which
Boston on her front.
Which
but,
I've also heard was insane.
Yeah, it was.
I think every show of theirs was probably insane.
They know how to put on a good show, which is good. Going back to your music. On your Bandcamp, you mentioned that you have got an album in the works. So the EP came out, and there's an allusion to maybe the album is on the way.
So my thought was, these 4 songs are the first 4 songs off the album. Put them out as an EP. Tons of bands do that. And then when I have the other ones ready to go, be packaged all together, and you already know half or some of the songs,
Right.
and put it out as a full album.
So how do you feel about that? Because you wrote, obviously, 2, not back in the day, but while you were with the other band, you wrote 2 in the summer. How are you doing on that kind of like production? Do you feel like there's pressure now to put kind of an album out, or are you kind of like, do you like that bit of back against
I've
the wall?
never done a full length in
Yeah.
any project I've ever been a part of, so I'm pretty excited. Part of me is like, oh my god, like I gotta write like at least this many songs at once to put out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've had more than that, like 8, 10, 12, 15 songs on other projects, but like we wrote them over the course of 2 or 3 years. But this is like, I would like to theoretically maybe by the summer have things at least ready to record if I'm not already recording. So I don't think there's any pressure. This is more of a personal goal and challenge that I want to do. Like I want to do this.
Right.
Like before was like, okay, yeah, so we got these songs, we got to share these songs. These are the songs we play live. Okay, we have these extra songs and we have more set time. But I'm like, right now, I would like to like open. I don't really have a very long set right now. I could play some old material of mine. I could play covers, but I'd like to find some I don't even care who it is. I'll just open for anybody right now.
Right.
And then by the time I have those ready, then maybe I'll, hey, can I not open? Can I maybe go second or third? Like I
Right.
can do 30 minutes now.
Yeah, so are you kind of enjoying, I mean, as you said, like with other bands and other projects, there's been more of an impetus to like, all right, we need to get these songs down. We need to play, these are the songs we're going to be playing live and
Yeah.
yada, yada. It seems fairly driven and maybe not necessarily in a creatively friendly way. Is it kind of nicer to have it's on your schedule. It's when you like to do it.
I mean, I don't have to book a practice around everyone's schedule. I can just, well, today I feel like I'm going to pick up my guitar, and tomorrow I'm supposed to go meet with everybody. Well, no, I'm not going to pick up my guitar. I don't want to do that.
Right.
I'd say I guess so, yeah.
Does that
And
help?
again, I'm trying to use this as like a goal to push myself to.
Does that help with the creativity in terms of writing songs?
I think so. And again, I'm trying to write a little differently, have them, like I said, more melodies and stuff. And yeah, I feel like it's not as, nobody knows this project. So, so there's nothing like, I don't know. Not that anything I've been in is like super like, pressury, but like nobody knows this.
Right.
So it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I want people to know it.
Well, it's kind of up to you, kind of like when it's ready, you'll put it out. But
Yeah.
if it's not ready, then it doesn't matter. You can just
Exactly.
you keep just doing what
Yeah,
you're doing.
There's no promises made to anybody.
Right. Yeah, it's quite nice to be honest. Do you have kind of like do you have to be in a certain space for a certain place to kind of sit down and write? A lot of people I know kind of come up with all the lyrics in their cars and they put them on voice notes and stuff.
Definitely voicemails in my car because you should not text and drive. Yeah, I like to do voicemail stuff. I like to do pen and paper, like when I have it. I just somehow I do it in my like notes on my phone sometimes, which I do because I don't want to forget it. But something about just like writing it sometimes to me helps me flow better. Like I can, if I just jot something down in my phone, it's like okay, there's a line or two, and then I'm like, I don't want to type anymore. But if I've got paper and a pen, I can just sit there and okay, yeah, this is flowing, and then I can, okay, I got these chords to it. Okay, yeah. Just my bedroom, I guess.
Yeah.
That's about it.
So it's something a bit more tangible about actually sitting down with like a pen and paper.
Yeah, and I'll do a lot of like either use the voice memo on my phone to like if I've got something, or so I can remember what the heck I did. I video myself doing it.
Right. No, for sure.
But
Do you ever kind of wake up middle of the night, cold sweat, and like, I've got the best line?
I definitely have. I do. I don't know why, but you said shower, and I have definitely thought of a lot of stuff in the shower. I don't know why.
You need to get a recording booth in the shower.
Try to write it on
press,
your shower curtain.
making it all steam up again so you can see what you wrote previously. Well, we'd love to hear another song. So, yeah.
Joe's going to play on this one, too. This one was one that I wrote in 2020. It's called The Crowd. I'd like to do a video for it. I think it would be really cool.
Old this year, finally faced most of my fears. See you when you came to me, figured out what I could be, saw you in the crowd. You can see now. Where do we go from here? Lie to me, take me anywhere.
romantics there with the crowd. Some lovely picking there, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah, some gorgeous stuff.
Thanks.
Hunter, we never really talked about like your musical history. So obviously you played for, it sounds like a few bands. But yeah, when did you start playing? When did you start writing? When did you start performing?
Started playing guitar when I was 14. Tried to make a band. None of us knew how to play. I think I started playing out when I was 15 in like a punk cover band in high school. That was fun.
That was
Some good times in
interesting,
there. There's some good memories. It was a lot of fun.
If I remember any of my, well, as I said, I never played myself, but plenty of friends and bands at 15, and while the music was terrible, the parties were good.
I mean, we thought we were amazing, but deep down, I know we sucked. I don't think we were very good.
How did that meander and manifest into who you are now? Where else did you go from there?
Let's see. I played in, again, like a cover thing in college. We sort of wrote some songs. Then I was in a hardcore punk band locally for maybe I don't think even a year. Again, more of just a lot of energy and really loud. Moved away and didn't play in bands for quite a few years. I just kind of noodled around myself, and I joined a band down south briefly. Went on a small tour with them. Got removed from that band. Came back to Burlington. I was like, I gotta be playing again. Like, I gotta be playing live. Joined a local band. Was with them for 2 years. It was a lot of fun. Wasn't entirely what I wanted to do, so I stepped away, started my most recent project, and ended up here. And just wanting to write better. Like, my songs, obviously, like most people in their teens, were just very juvenile and stupid and whatever dumb stuff you can think of. You just sing about, I grew up listening to Blink-182, and, those kind of jokes were like what I used to write about, like just dumb stuff like that. And I don't know.
Some of their songs are very stupid. I did learn recently that some of them are intentionally stupid.
Oh, yeah.
So a bit of music trivia for you now. On the Take Off Your Pants and Jacket album, they went to the music executives and had 10 songs. They're like, yeah, these are all really great, but we need something we want to play on the radio. And none of you, so I don't think we can play on the radio. They drove back to a recording studio that day, wrote Rock Show and All the Small Things, I think.
All Small Things
Rock Show and
First
Date.
Yeah.
In an afternoon. And then came back to the executive's office and like, all right, there's your 2 singles, and we have the album now. And they said yes, which is why, while those songs absolutely slap, the lyrics are objectively terrible.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that those are radio songs.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of bands, you listen to their singles and you're like, oh, these are good, but they're radio songs. You listen to the rest of the album, and you're like, I like these too, but they're not radio songs.
Right. It would be difficult to get a few of those on the radio as well. I thought it was very cool when I was about 14 and the amount of times I used the F word.
Oh, yeah, of course.
This is
like,
hardcore.
The live album was like, that was like, my best friend and I, we had a copy of that we'd share. It was like porn. Like, we couldn't let our parents know we had that. Like, they swore all the time, and everything they talked about, like,
oh yeah,
you gotta hide that. You got it taken away from him. We had to steal it back. Like, that was the CD when we were 13.
The joke is that the guys were like 30 years old when they wrote that, and everyone in the crowd was 14 years old.
Yeah, I'm very excited Tom is back. He was definitely like an inspiration. Edging is catchy. But yeah, they're like almost 50.
Yeah, they're really pushing it. One of them's a Kardashian now, so good for him, I guess. So yeah, tell me, this is your first gig, and we always love a big Heavy World exclusive, and I don't think we've had a actual first gig before, so
That's
I think
cool.
thanks for coming here first. But where do you see yourself? What do you want to do with this solo project? Where are you going with this? Album obviously, but yeah.
I want to do what I've wanted to do in music with this. I want to tour as much as I can, more than I have than anything else. I want to do more with it than anything I've ever done. Like, I want to get more radio airplay. I want to play bigger shows. I want to just whatever I can make of it. I mean, you don't need to be rich and famous doing, but I want to do as much as I can in this. Like, this is what I want to do. Like I said, it's easier to get yourself booked than, okay, can us 5 all have 2 weeks off in the summer to do, like, okay, yeah, I have nothing going on for these 2 weeks. Like, why don't I do something? So as much as I can do, and this is what I want to do. Like, I want to write, I want to play shows. I want to play shows, like, as many as I can.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Anywhere that I can.
Yeah, I mean, where's that? So you said you got one show booked right now. Where's the inaugural actual live paying customers kind of?
That's gonna be in Rutland at Merchants Hall in April. So there's plenty of time to try to squeeze some stuff in before then.
Yeah. Have you been eyeing up the venues around town? I know radio
Yeah, I
being
mean, I
closed in
haven't,
January,
like,
so
Played out in a little over a year, and I feel like I fell out of the scene. Like, I know the bands that I used to know, and I've seen some other ones, and I'm like, oh, like, this is pretty cool. So I'm trying to see who's. I don't want to totally hop on someone's fully electric 3-band bill, and
right.
I'm the awkward, but I will. I mean, I love playing Monkey House. Radio Bean's always fun. Jim's Basement is like, you have to.
I mean,
Like,
it's
you have
a standard, you know.
I feel like almost every single band I've been in, like, that's always been like one of the first shows. Like, you have to play. Jim's like, that's a rite of passage. Like, you've got to play the Basement.
It's the hazing, really.
Yeah.
It's-
I love DIY shows because they're, I don't know, they're less. I feel like pressure from people just standing. Like, you know, I love Monkey House, but sometimes, you know, I've been in there and I'm like, I don't want to listen to what's going on. Like, I just want to hang out with my friends.
Right.
And then you kind of feel bad because you're like, oh, well, they're playing and you got to,
Right.
I want to watch them too. But then it sucks on the other end where you're playing and okay, those 5 people are just playing pool. Like, they could care less.
Right.
Definitely those places. Anywhere new, I don't even know. Because I've seen some other DIY spots around. I've played Orlando's before, and that's a cool place. And I feel like if it's just like me or Joe or someone like that, I can play more places. Like, I could play like coffee shops or something like that because I'm not screaming. I'm not super loud.
Right.
I feel like the booking opportunity could be better.
Yeah. And it might not be the case that you have to stay up till 11:30 and trek
That's
your gear out even later.
And
so
this
yeah.
was awesome. I walked in with a guitar. I didn't have to lug in a half stack, lug in drums. Like,
Right.
you know, this was.
It could take you 5 minutes to
Yeah.
get packed back out again, and there's a lot of advantages to being a man and guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think those coffee shops will open themselves up as well. You can do the Sunday afternoon gigs. And,
yeah,
and
exactly.
whatnot.
And I think that opens up a whole new world of people who might want to listen to. Like, again, I'm not playing that kind of stuff. Maybe lyrics could be similar, but I mean, you might be more apt to listen to that if it's not ear-piercingly loud and then someone's yelling into the microphone as loud as they can.
Yeah, I mean, you might have opened yourself up to a whole new different genre of fans
Yeah,
as well.
that, and I've been to like just straight up acoustic shows around town, and I've seen some really good artists. Like years ago, there was a 242 show, and I think it was supposed to be a full band night, and sound guy didn't show up, and there was 2 touring acoustic acts, and one of the artists, Warren Franklin, I absolutely love, and I met him that night, and I was like, this guy just, like, it's just him. He's just doing this. And that's what I think he still does. And that's cool.
Yeah,
Easier to travel, easier to do everything.
yeah. Some of the best gigs I've been to has just been a full acoustic set.
Yeah.
Well, Hunter, we've got about time for one more song.
Okay.
So,
this one's also short.
what have you got to play us out with?
This song's called 17. It is the newest song that I wrote. You'd think it was a love song, and I guess it kind of is, but in a romantic way about hanging out with, like, one of your best friends growing up and, like, the innocence of being young and dumb, and I don't know. It's not a traditional, like, oh, I love this person in
Yeah.
that kind of sense, in a different kind of romantic way.
Celebrating the platonic romance.
Yeah,
perhaps.
yeah.
All right. Well, take it away.
It was you and me on the movie screen. Two grown-ass adults, but we were acting like teens. Looking at me, talking through your teeth. On our backs in the summer heat, we were staying up late like we were 17. Feeling drinks, running down the street. You promised me the nights wouldn't end. I looked up at you and promised it again. Here we are, 31 again. I wanna stay with you at 70. I wanna stay with you at 70. I wanna stay with you at 70.
All right, living room romantics there. Playing us out at 17. You weren't lying. That was quite a short one. I wasn't expecting it to be that short. But I really appreciate you coming in, Hunter.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, best of luck, and love to see you book a few new shows in the town, and hopefully I'll come across you at some point.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we've got time for this evening. Join us next week when we're going to have Blueberry Betty coming in. That should be a really good show. But for tonight, this has been WOMLP. That's been a difficult word for me to say tonight. Operating out of Burlington VT, 105.9 The Radiator. It's been The Rocket Shop. I've been your host, Tom Proctor, and good night. The woohoo is the cue, apparently.
I have to do it every time. Right?
Yeah.